What's going on, everybody? Brian here for Body by Burgers, and today, yes, today, is the video you have all been waiting for. So, yesterday, Saturday, August 13th, 2016, was Calgary's Spartan race sprint, in which I decided to compete in. Now, I've said right from the start that this entire race, the preparation, I had no goals in mind for time. The only goal I had in mind was to finish this race. Before I tell you how I did, though, I'm going to talk to you about how the course was kind of laid out, how I felt throughout it, and basically how unprepared I was for it. So, in Calgary, it's actually at their motocross track, and there's tons of hills. When we first got there, I was actually excited when I had seen some of the obstacles. I was like, man, these are cool. There's cargo ladders, there's walls to jump over, there's like a pit of fire. And I've been doing like 5-kilometer jogs, walks before going to the Spartan race, but it wasn't even close to the amount of preparation that I needed. So at the beginning, you're like at the start-finish line of the actual motocross track, and when you start, you get there like you're at the start line for about 5-10 minutes before you actually start. And there's a guy with a microphone, and he is amped up, man. He gets you going. You are pumped up. Didn't even need pre-workout kind of thing, even though the people I went with, Devin, Stajan, and Sydney, they all took pre-workout and they were ready to go. And I was like, man, my heart's going to be over 200 this whole time. There's no way I should take pre-workout. But he gets you pumped. He gets you ready to go. Anyway, noon rolls around, and we get the whole pump up. He goes, "Who are we?" And you have to yell, "We are Sparta." Man, you feel pretty good about that. And then 3, 2, 1, go. So you go. Immediately, straight downhill. Straight downhill off of the start-finish line at this motocross track into a mud puddle. And right off this mud puddle, there's people losing their shoes left, right, and center. I was fortunate enough that I managed to keep my shoes on the whole time, so I was pretty happy about that. You get through this mud puddle, instantly uphill, back down a hill, go around this corner, and you get around this corner, and you actually get off of the motocross track, and you're going down and up a steep hill 4 times. So I didn't do a lot of training with hills, so right off the start, I was pretty much fucked. So I went down the hill, went up the hill, and I think the heat time that I got at noon was actually a pretty good time because people had ran it beforehand, so there was a lot of grooves built into the hills on the way up, so there wasn't a lot of slipping. At this point, though, we are like literally on the second leg of the race. Oh shit, I forgot one thing. Before you got to these hills that were up and down, there's actually a 4-foot wall you had to climb over, and then you get underneath the wall, and then you climb over another 4-foot wall. Then you get to these hills. So I'm thinking these hills, take them easy, don't want to hurt yourself. And right in front of me, somebody did not take it easy. They just went full throttle, full throttle, full throttle, fell just like that right at the bottom of one of the hills, and they ended up breaking their arm. And I seen that, and I was just good. So that's the pace of this race. So it was a little unnerving seeing that happen because this person was in 10 times better shape than I was. Actually, everybody there was in 10 times better shape than I was. I was easily the most overweight guy that was there. So anyway, you get down these hills, you get up and down these hills, and then all of a sudden, you get to the top. The Spartan Race volunteers. All right, girls, you pick up these bricks. Guys, you pick up these cylinders. Now you got this 40-pound, 50-pound concrete cylinder. You pick up, you walk to a flag, drop it, pick it up again, and walk it back to where you were with it originally. So I do that. I had to take a break before I even got there. Did that. And then you go on to the next obstacle. Honestly, at this point, it was a 6-foot wall you had to jump. 2 6-foot walls you had to jump. And I'm already gassed at this point, and the pack of everybody had already broke off in front of me. And then I had 2 people. I made some friends along the way. By the way, this was the most encouraging environment that I've ever been in for fitness. Everybody that went by you said, "You're doing great, keep it up, you've got this." Like, it was nothing but encouraging words. So we get to this 6-foot wall, and I'm only 5'6" and really overweight, because that was my number one hindrance of this whole thing, was easily my weight. So we get to the 6-foot wall. 2 people by the name of Dan and Naomi come up and they're like, "Do you want a hand?" So they ended up helping me jump over that wall, or the both of the walls, and away we go. We get going, and the next obstacle, I might be missing a couple here. There's like 23 obstacles total, and I was pretty tired, and I forgot a lot of the things throughout the way. But we got to the next obstacle, and I believe it was the loaded hill carry. So the guys had to grab the red and black bag that weighed 40 pounds, throw it on your back shoulder, however, go down a hill, back up this hill. So that one I didn't find too bad. I actually kind of enjoyed that one. So it wasn't too bad. So you drop that bag, and then you get going. You get on this trail, and this trail is full of mud, full of water up to my ankles, and you get down this trail, like the mud just kept getting deeper and deeper. Some of it was up to my knees at some points. And I would say that that was a good kilometer of the actual 5 kilometers trudging through this mud. And then you had this uphill slope all the way up where there was essentially water rolling down this slope, making it super slippery, super tough. And there was people at the top of that hill saying, "Give me your hand," because you weren't going to get up otherwise. So, I needed a hand getting up that. From there, a bit of another little run, and you got to some, I want to say it was the bucket carry. So you go to a bucket carry, it's full of like mud, water, you got to go down a hill, you got to go back uphill. I seen the hill that it was going down, and it was like goddamn pretty much straight down 90 degrees. I said, not happening, so I just did burpees. I said, screw that, I'm doing burpees. And in total, I did like 150 burpees. It was pretty ridiculous, and that's even with the volunteers giving me a break on some of them. So I just did the burpees for that course. It seemed too risky at that point. Running along. I didn't run. Who are we kidding? I didn't run. I was walking the whole time. And then more water, more mud pits. I'm pretty sure they included all the water pits as an obstacle. They would have had to, because at the beginning they announced that there was 23 obstacles. But it was just really sketchy. At this point, I pretty much hit the halfway point after I failed on the monkey bars and did more burpees. You go down a hill, back up a hill, and there's a water station at the halfway point, 2.5 kilometers in. And that was my number one mistake. Not that I didn't stop for, I definitely stopped for water, but I didn't drink enough water when I had stopped for that water. You get past that water station, and there's a lot more obstacles. You get into the spear throw is one of them. I seen like 5 people make that throw while I was doing burpees because I fucked mine up and wrapped around my arm, and I actually have a mark on my arm right here from the rope wrapping around it. And then from there, you go across to a little bar where you basically set your hands on the bar and you have to like walk yourself across that bar. I had already been gassed and dying at this point, so I failed like 4 little walks in on it. So more burpees there. And then you go up into a 10-foot wall sorry, you go to an inverse wall. So essentially the inverse wall is like this, but you're standing on this side and there's no support on here where you can grab. It's literally right here is where there's a wall, and there's a couple boards along the side if you can get your feet on and up and over. I couldn't do it. I did burpees on that. And then you get into a concrete rock pull, so you're pulling like a 40-pound concrete brick through mud, water, and grossness. You get, I had seen somebody just shatter their ankle or something too, because like the paramedics carried them off on the stretcher. So I was pretty nervous about that. You get to go through a mud pit, and when you went through this mud pit, it was like up to here on me. Now I'm 5'6", so that was like 4 feet deep. And at this point, I had not drank enough water at the water stations or even taken any along with me, and my legs were cramping right up. It was even difficult to do a normal walk. It was brutal, like goddamn brutal. Get through this mud pit. There is a triangle, like wall, where this side is rope, and then on this side it's stairs, and you have to use the rope to pull yourself up to get down to the stair side. I get to the top, can't get my leg over, slide back down. The officials, you're only allowed one attempt normally. The officials looked at me and said, you might as well try that again. So, get to the top, can't get my feet over, slide back down. According to the officials, that was good enough, so they just let me go. So you get done that one, and as soon as you get done that, there's this one called the rolling water. So you go over a mound of dirt into water that is about 2 feet deep, over a mound of dirt into water that's about 3 feet deep, over a mound of dirt into water that is about 4.5 feet deep. And at that point, when I jumped into the water at the bottom of this mound, my legs cramped up and seized up, and I could not even stand in that spot. So I basically swam out of it. And then, of course, once I stood up, I stretched out a bit, took my time, get going again. And then all of a sudden there is a probably 100-foot stretch of water, but this water was deep, like 5 feet deep. And you're going, you're going, and you're going. And there was rocks in this pit, and somebody even warned me ahead, hey, there's rocks, be careful, take light steps. So what happens? I'm not careful. I didn't take light steps because I didn't know exactly where the rock started. One rolled out for me, and my left calf, cramped up so bad, I couldn't even put any pressure on it in water. So I had to take a second and breathe and stretch that one out, and everybody passing me, you okay, man? You okay, man? I'm like, yeah, it's just a huge leg cramp. I'll get going, get going. And they're like, you're doing great. So that was pretty encouraging to go. Then you got to a little bit of like a hanging obstacle, like you're going from monkey bars to a bar, back to the monkey bars to a bar, and then a rope, and then you have to hit the bell. Oh my god, there's like 10 obstacles, I forgot. Before that, there was a little wall that had handholds and footholds that zigzagged, and you had to hit a bell on that. And then there was also a balance beam after the mud carry down the steep slope that you had to go across. Yeah, anyway, after that monkey bar set, I just went straight to burpees on that one too because I had no grip strength left to even attempt that. So you do that, you go to more running and more water, more hills, and then you end up getting into, what was it? I'm sure I missed a few obstacles along the way here. There's like 20 of them, and I was so exhausted I couldn't even breathe. My lungs were filling up with a bunch of shit, and there was points where I was going to quit, and I just blacked out and didn't really think about anything that was going. Then you get into the mud crawl, I want to say, is the next one. So you do the mud crawl. I just skipped it because the line going into that mud crawl was just fucking stupid. And I just wanted to finish it, so I just went straight to the end of it and did my burpees and moved on. But there was also another wall before that where you had like a 8-foot wall, and then you had to climb up it and then go back down it, and it was just wood bars. That was another one that I was so gassed on. I just did burpees. Then you go from that mud crawl into a 30-foot cargo net, and this was the one that I was most excited about when I first came in. And it was odd for me to be excited about something that had heights, because I am fucking petrified of heights. They are the absolute worst thing ever. But I did it. I went up that cargo net. That wasn't even the worst part, going up. It was the transition to go back down, because the problem with the cargo net was the holes in the net were actually just as wide as the transition point on top. So on your way back down, there was nothing to grip into, and my hands got caught between the cargo net and the metal, and I smashed one of my fingers. Like, it doesn't look bad. It maybe is a little bit bruised more than the other ones, but I don't know. I did that, and I knew I was going to do that, and then now you're on the home stretch. Your last obstacle is jumping over a pit of fire. It's actually not that big a deal. It's just a little bar. It's probably about 8 feet wide, about 3 inches around or so, and I basically just stepped over it because I didn't have any energy to do anything else. Then you had about another 50 feet, and you were done. So, all that said and done, I am officially a Spartan race finisher. I worked my ass off that day, blacked out, give you a nice cool little shirt as well. But I am so proud of this, and I can't thank you guys enough for supporting me along the way. I actually did it. My time was 3 hours and 8 minutes, and I finished second last in my age group. But I don't give two flying fucks where I finished, because my mission to get into this race was to finish it. And I finished it, and I feel like I finished it strong. I did the last 2 obstacles all on my own, and I got this medal to prove it. And I can't be happier. So we'll put it this way. I was the most overweight guy there. I was 333 pounds trying to go around this track, and I did it. So if I can do it with limited preparation and not knowing what to expect, anybody out there can do it. So there's no excuses. I want to see each and every one of you that has supported me along the way at next year's Spartan race in Calgary. Don't be deterred that this is one of the toughest races that even the pros that passed me said were saying, God damn, this is a tough race. Because anybody can do it. So I want to see you all out there next year, training hard. If you got questions, I'm going to be here for you, because I'm also going to do it again next year. I want to see how much I've improved. That is today's video, guys. I hope you liked this video. I hope I'm going to be able to walk in the next couple days, because I can tell you right now, it's goddamn painful to walk. And until next time, guys, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Put it right somewhere around here. Either Spidey there is going to talk to you, or maybe Cartman down there to give you a link on subscription. Like the video, and until next time, guys, hopefully recovered and not so dead tired from the Spartan race. Burger power, everyone.